All right, let's welcome ourselves to this all levels 45-minute class starting in child's pose, knees a bit apart, big toes together. Drape your arms forward. The forehead can either stay lifted a bit for support or all the way down to the yoga mat. Take a few deep breaths here, just taking notice of how you are coming to the mat, to this practice. And then reach your arms out nice and long in front of you and start to lift a tiny bit out of this child's pose. Fingertips to the floor. Lift your forearms, elbows, upper arm bones towards the sky. Almost a slight little roll with the breath. Inhale, exhale. Hovering above the mat. Creating just a bit more space between your body and the ground with each new rise in breath, each new fall in breath, getting a little bit closer again. And keep that slight pulse going with the breath and body, and walk both hands over towards the right side. With each exhale, allowing the left shoulder to go a little closer to the mat. Each inhale, picking it back up, more in line with the right. And then walk the hands back to the middle and over to the left side. Now these pulses don't have to be very big at all. I'm slightly exaggerating in my own body in case you need to look and understand. But just a little bit of movement here with the breath and with the stretch. And then we walk our hands back to the middle again. Rise up to all fours. Cat and cow, kind of in that pulsing manner so that it's actually a little bit quicker than you might usually do. Moving the spine back and forth. I'm hoping the flow or pulse of movement helps to get us into a really nice rhythm for this 45-minute practice. And if you're having to pay attention to the movement, the pulse, letting that encompass much, much, much more of our awareness. So the mind can't get too busy elsewhere. Stay right here with this little pulse. 2 more breaths. And then downward facing dog. And in downward facing dog, I want you to lift and lower your heels so that becomes a little bit of the pulse. Lift and lower. Finding a constant and steady movement. Make the arms as straight as you can through this downward facing dog so that you're getting a nice big full shoulder stretch now into the chest. As you move those heels, feel the calf raise. Now return it back to where you started, all the way down to child's pose. Even wrap the hands back towards your feet and be still. What do you notice here? What do you witness? Where's the awareness? Friends, perhaps keeping the eyes closed, change to a seated position, cross-legged. If a cross-legged seat doesn't work for you, sit back on your heels, but try to keep the eye gaze closed or low. Starting with that bit of movement and pulse to draw our awareness closer. Take a moment now to visualize the awareness as an orb of light right inside the belly. Visualize lifting the light through every inhale, letting it softly come back down through every exhale. And then can you see that light coming out of the belly and hovering right in front of your body? What is the awareness right in front of you? This might be witnessing how you feel others see you right at that first glance. Without moving your head, just imagine peripheral vision changing towards the right shoulder. Let the light hover. What do you see in your awareness? Right there. Then allow that witness eye and the orb of light to move over towards the left shoulder, hovering right over the left shoulder. What is almost trying to look at you? Mm, 360 view. Let the light travel to your back. What's the awareness right behind you? Is it comforting? Can you lean back like a pillow a bit? Is it prickly? Does it keep you sitting upright and a little bit forward? Always to the next. Let it be absorbed back into you. Take another breath. Exhale. Let's keep playing with that awareness through the movement today. Lift the arms up to the sky, open the eyes. Send the right arm down by your side as you reach up and over, side body bend. And then inhale, lift both arms up. Good, exhale, second side. Really nice, inhale, lift high. Bring the hands, palms together, center of the chest. Maybe a little nod to your awareness, that internal intention driving us through the movement today. And come on over to all fours. Return again to downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And lift the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip, make some big hip circles. Take the knee down and around. Stay in the same direction for 2 or 3 circles. And then opposite direction, 2 or 3 circles. Step the right foot all the way through into your low lunge. Take a few steps as needed until you find your full length, knee over ankle, fingertips in line with our toes, and shift the hips a little forward and back here. A little to a lot. 2 or towards straight in the legs. Whew. I'm feeling that tightness. I don't know about you guys. Those cold mornings make it even a little harder to move. So a little pat on the back for being here and getting the body moving. Okay, stay in the lunge. Lift your right hand up to the sky in a twist. Good. Set the right hand down, step back to downward facing dog. Little pedal through the feet in between. Second side, lift the left leg high, 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip. Meaning point the left knee more up towards the sky as the foot comes over towards the right shoulder. And then hip circles down and around. Try to make the circle as big as possible here, really finding your full range of motion. And then go around in the opposite direction as well. Round and down. Excuse me. Step the left foot all the way through into your lunge. Square off the hips. And then shift back and forth to or towards that straight front leg each pulse. No wrong way to move here. How's it coming in? How's it feeling? Take your time. Settle into the lunge. Lift the left hand high into your twisted or revolved variation. Lower the left hand and again stretch all the way back to downward facing dog. Come forward to plank pose now. Light up your shoulders right over the back of the wrist. Squeeze in the glutes. Lengthen your tailbone, tone the abdomen. Look a little bit forward. You're right here. That orb of light, nice and held right in your core. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower flat down to the belly. Lift just your shoulders, top of the chest, top of the belly off of the ground in a little baby cobra. And then lower it down. And do it again. Inhale, lift, baby cobra. Lower it down. This time lift a little bit higher, maybe 3/4 of the way. And lower it down. Same thing, a 3/4 lift. Lower it down. Stay with that 1/2 or 3/4, or if you're ready, push even a little bit more. Stay right there, stay right there. You've got this. And then lower it all the way through. Press back to child's pose. And right arm under the left, twisted child's pose. Take the right shoulder, side of the face, the ear down to the mat. Your hips can stay lifted a bit or sit them all the way back towards the heels. And then unthread the right arm and do the same to the second side. Thread the left arm through. Unthread the left arm, downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot and walk forward to the front of the mat. Forward fold at the front edge of your mat. Keep the knees bent, do ragdoll pose, meaning hang heavy in the upper body. Arms can relax or hold on to the elbows and sway a little bit from side to side. Let yourself breathe. Hear it, feel it. And then roll it up to standing. As you roll up, shoulders up and back, few shoulder rolls. Good, and forward and down. Tadasana, take your mountain pose. We're usually quick to move in the morning throughout this month of January on our Tuesday morning practice, slowing things down, finding a little bit more of those centering awareness points. Here again, one of them, feel your weight rock forward to your toes so that you have to grip the earth a little bit more to keep you from falling. And then bring the weight back to center. Notice the difference. What if you swayed too much weight back into your heels? You almost would fall back, but there's more contraction that can happen in the abdomen to help you stay upright. And then bring it back to center. A little bit of sway over to the right, over to the left, and then back to the middle. That slight drawing away helps us to draw back in. Breathe there. And let's move from that center. Inhale, lift the arms up. Open the eyes, look up. Sun salutations. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower on down to the mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Change to downward facing dog. Take one more breath in dog pose. And then bring the right foot forward into your low lunge. Get it there however works for you, but find your full stride. Again, open up into the twist, right hand high. Lower the right hand to the inside of your foot. Spin the back heel down. Come all the way up to warrior two now. Face the long edge of your mat. The shoulders and the hips be turned towards that long edge, but gaze out over your front fingertips. Deeply bend the front knee and push weight into the back leg. So much. Think of just one thing, two things to concentrate on so that awareness stays more present. Even if I've said 5, take 2 of them. Really feel it. Cartwheel the hands back down here through plank position. Again, lower down, cobra, downward facing dog. 2 breaths in dog pose. And then second side, bring the left foot forward into your low lunge. Make sure you get into that full stride. Add the revolved lunge, left hand high, start there. And then left hand to the inside of your foot. Spin the right heel down, the back foot down. Cartwheel the torso upright. Stack shoulders over hips. Face the long edge. Gaze out over your front fingertips. You've got this. Looking good, yogis. Cartwheel the hands down. This time step forward. So if you pick up that back heel and then launch your weight forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Check in. Intention, awareness. Right here, 2 breaths. Continuing with the sun salutation, inhale, lift the arms back up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank and lower down to the mat. Inhale, chest up, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Another breath here. And exhale. Start with the left foot this time. So left foot steps forward to your lunge. Again, take revolved lunge, left hand up to the sky. Set it down to the inside of your foot, spin the back heel down, warrior 2, rise up. A little more here, take side angle pose, elbow to the knee, top arm palm down overhead. I usually stop at elbow to knee, but you could take the hand down to the floor on the inside of the leg if you want that little bit more stretch. Notice what benefits you most. Everyone back to warrior 2. Lift the torso again. Flip the palms. Reverse warrior, left hand high, right arm down your back. And then what changes in the pose if you look over your back shoulder instead of up to the sky? Look at your right foot. If you notice your right thigh dipped way forward when you do that, can you just move it back a little bit out of the way, give you some more space around your low back? Stay there for the next breath. Okay, now cartwheel the hands down around the front foot. Plank pose. Lower to the mat. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Second side, bring the right foot forward into the low lunge. Lift the right hand up to the sky and revolved lunge. Now, I know these positions, these movements, even linking them together is not new for most of us. Right hand down through the inside of the foot, spin the back heel down. But it's the practice of being aware enough to notice how this time is your present time. What's maybe a little bit different or the same as when you've come to warrior 2 last time. Side angle, right elbow to the knee, left arm palm down overhead. Again, tapping in, is it best for you to stay elbow to knee? Do you want to give it that extra bit of ask and reach, fingertips down to the floor? What has to change to make that happen? Push through your back foot to allow the torso to come back upright to warrior 2. Flip the palms, lift the right hand high. We tend to look up at that top hand because it did the most maneuvering. But again, look over your back shoulder. Look down the left leg. If your thigh is creating the biggest shadow, can you move it just a little bit back so that as you look down the leg, your gaze more easily can go to the big toe? Now change to your low lunge. As you rotate that back heel up, put the weight into the front leg, step forward, both feet to the front of the mat. It's always a heavy step, right? Inhale, half lift. Forward fold. Stand, reach both arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Lower the hands down by your side. Keep the eyes open and walk back. Intentionally walk through toe, ball, middle of the foot, down to the heel. Walk to the center of your mat. Place the hands at the waist, pick up your right knee, pull it as high as you can towards the chest without the use of the hands, just your muscular strength lifting you up. That's a great range of motion for you. Tighten into the core and straighten the right leg. Bend the knee again, kick the foot back behind you and tilt torso forward. Warrior 3. Send the arms forward now. We did this in Sunday's yoga hour class. Lift the arms to the sky, lift the torso, pull the right knee back up into the chest. Eagle pose, wrap the right leg over the left. Take the right arm under the left. If you fall out of balance, just try to come back in. That's a metaphor for every moment of every day right now, yeah? Inhale, relax, lift the arms up to the sky, both feet down to the floor. On the exhale, release the arms, stand in mountain pose. How are you here? My awareness tells me I'm always barely balanced, coming in. A very physical balance practice is super helpful. Hands to the waist, open the eyes if they were closed, pull the left knee up and into the chest. Send the leg as straight as you can, keeping it as high as you can. That one's a big ask for our hip flexors. Nice job. Bend the knee again, kick it back. Warrior 3. So think T shape in the body here. I bend the standing leg to make it easiest to square off the hips, and then send the arms out in front of you. Again, if we fall off balance, try again. Great alternative is to keep the back toes down instead of lifted. And then stand up again, lift the arms, lift the left knee back into the chest as you do so. Eagle pose, cross the left leg over the right, bend the knees, sit into it. Left arm under. Uncross the left leg, uncross the arms, lift them up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Again, downward facing dog, hands forward, feet back. Pedal out the feet. Let the hips shift a little side to side. And then take the feet here as wide as your sticky mat, so that your like pinky toe outer edge of the feet is almost hanging off the mat. Feet as wide as they can go. Now can you make your downward facing dog shorter? Walk the hands in, try to get palms flat and heels flat, legs as straight as they'll go. Good, walk it in another step, hands in. Now as the fingertips come all the way back towards the line of your toes, turn the toes out so that the toes now are hanging off of your mat, the heels still on. Bend your knees, sit down into your squat. To the best that you can, keep your heels flat on the mat and sit the butt as low as it can. Bring the hands to prayer. Swing the right arm to the inside of the thigh, place it flat on the ground, and lift the left arm up to the sky. Great alternative here is to also lean the hand back instead of forward, whichever works best. Bring palms back to the center. And try this over to the second side. So the left arm swings to the inside, trying to pin the left thigh back. If that's too much in the hip, you just change. Hand behind you, right hand high. Good, 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 friends. Come back to the center. A sign of things in Triple B this week. Take the hands forward, a little gorilla walk forward. Come into your yogi squat at the front of your mat. Can you keep the hands down, lift your hips about halfway until you can step back to plank. And then downward facing dog into side plank. Turn to the outer edge of the right foot. Stack your feet, left arm to the sky. Find an option that works for you here. That might mean right knee down. It might mean left foot stepping forward. It could be on the forearm instead of the hand. Side plank, one more breath. And then to downward facing dog. Big part of this witness, notice, awareness, speak this month is finding a way to make the shapes of the poses that look the best, that feel the best in your body. Left hand outer edge of the left foot. That changes from day to day, so we have to keep tuning in. It's why we're back here. It's why we call it practice. Side plank, find it for you on the second side. And then back to down dog. Come forward to plank. Yogi squat. Step the right foot to the outside of the right hand, left foot to the outside of the left hand. Hips butt down, torso upright, so you're back here. Okay, we walked ourselves to the front of the mat. We're going to try to walk ourselves back to the end of the mat. So if you lift your butt a little bit, hands go kind of through you. In some days, this is the start of an arm balance, but instead, we're going to use it to walk our feet back. Hands through, walk the feet back. Hands through, walk the feet back until you're at the end of your mat. Fun hip mobility. Now, if you hold on to your feet, can you make your legs as straight as possible and send your head down, turn those toes forward so you end up in a mat width forward fold here. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Keep your hands on your feet. You could wrap your first two fingers and thumb around the big toe. Every inhale, I want you here, nice long spine. On the exhale, bend your knees and sit lower into the legs. Spine doesn't change. We'll do that 4 more times with the breath. Inhale, long spine, straighter legs. Exhale, long spine, sit into the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend. Make your way to a seated position and stretch your legs straight out in front of you. Lean a bit back on your hands so that you can circle the right leg around. Face a different direction here. So I'm just circling. Yeah, go the opposite way. Sometimes we'll do this at the beginning, standing in a balance, so you get to do it at the end, down on the mat without having to worry about balance. Second side, second leg if you haven't already switched. Clicks in my hips make it easy to be in awareness there. Finish in Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Hold on to your ankles or toes. Pull yourself upright, broad across the collarbone. Look up more towards your ceiling. Breathe in. And exhale, try to touch nose down to your toes, nose to the toes. One more time, come upright, broaden across the collarbone, look high. I did some Zoom ballet with Luna, the 5-year-old, this weekend. They were doing these same seated stretches that we do plenty in yoga, nose to toes. As you build yourself back upright, hold on to the outer knees, pull them in. Lower down to your back now. Let the knees come with you. And then we're going to row through the hips here. So with the hands on the knees, I always think of these like oars rowing a rowboat round and out to the side. It's a little massage through the low back, the sacrum here as well. And then let the knees go in the opposite direction through that row. And squeeze everything tight towards the middle. Lift your head and shoulders up. Relax head and shoulders down. Take the hands out to a T, both knees over to the right, supine twist. Really consciously try to relax here. Allow the shape to come to you. And then bring the knees up and over to the second side. Friends, this is your time to do any last little unwinding movements to put in that last pose that we didn't get to for you. Give yourself just about a minute. And then either lying back in Shavasana or taking a seat of stillness. I've often been told in trainings when I take them, Shavasana should be 7, 8, 9 minutes or more. It's the only way to get into the parasympathetic nervous system. I'm quite certain the movement practice is what helps me switch into the parasympathetic nervous system, into that catch rather than the fight or flight. In 1 minute, 2 minutes, here in stillness, does quite a bit. Take a handful more long breaths in this stillness, in this release. And then if you're lying back here, slowly cue your way back to a seated position. Once back in the seat, I want you all to bring your awareness back down into that orb of light that's been circulating in the belly. Can you extract it back out to the front? A little swing over to the right, a swing over to the left, and all the way back around. And absorbed back into you. As your awareness today travels a little bit forward, a little left, right, or back, give yourself just 1 or 2 breaths to draw in and see where that can take you. Let's close out our time on the mat and the sound of Om. Sing along, listen, tune it out. Deep breath in. Ah, deep bow of gratitude to you, each other, this practice. Namaste. Okay, thank you all.